betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
This is Punters Inside Run, time to talk racing at Sandown. James Lamb, as always, from punters.com joins us. Lammy, great to have your company as always. A little bit of rain around prior to Saturday, but it looks like we're going to be on a good surface. And at Hillside, I love betting at Hillside. It's a great track to punt.
Yeah, it is a great track. Nice and roomy. Most horses get their chance. But yeah, the weather forecast looks a little bit grim. So you'd think probably soft 5 is worst case scenario. Yep. So yeah, working to a good 4, soft 5.
Security come down from the Gold Coast?
What's that?
We could be on a heavy 10.
7 mils, you can get the meeting abandoned at the Gold Coast. What about you, Matt, as an owner, as a breeder, as a punter at Sandown Hillside? Do you enjoy
Love it,
there? Yeah.
love it. Love Sandown in general.
In general, yeah.
You know, it just gives horses a chance. And there's those challenges, down into a dip, coming up a hill. The horses have got to know where their feet are going.
All right, we've got 2 Group 3s. We'll start with the 2-year-olds, the Chairman Stakes. And Lammy, a little bit like when we spoke to Shark about Sydney, the first race here, it looks fairly, the betting suggests that it's almost a choice of 2.
It's always tricky with these 2-year-old races where you're sort of basing your form on trials, jump outs, or just one start, basically. But I did find it hard to split VC and Sarasana, the colt and the filly. I've gone with VC, romped home at Flemington on debut, 1100 metres. Put 2.5 lengths on the runner-up, but there was also a massive gap back to third, which you'll always like to see. Back to 1,000 looks okay. We've talked about how Sandown's a big track. If it was back to 1,000 at the Valley, I might be a little bit wary, but at Sandown, I'm not concerned about that. And obviously the sire, Capitalist, was a star juvenile. So I've gone with VC just ahead of Sarasana, who's also a really impressive debut winner. I don't think there's much between them.
Fate that Capitalist comes back into the conversation, mate. He's paying a lot of attention.
Communist, capitalist, Russian Revolution. Who knows where we end up here?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. What about those two? I mean, they seem to be the two we've seen. We've seen them both win impressively.
Yeah, VC in particular. And interesting, when you see a young horse do what VC did first start, I wonder whether they can produce that again.
Yep.
So I must admit, I'm going against VC for that. He may have already had his day out. And I love the way Graham Begg brings his 2-year-olds to the races.
He's just brilliant at it.
Absolutely brilliant at it. So, and I think, for some reason, I just think there's going to be pace here.
Yep.
I reckon Written Bly is going to sit just off them and go bang.
Is Written Bly the best of the...
Yeah, I had her as the third pick in the race. A couple of nice jump outs at the home deck there. And yeah, the wide gate probably... It means that she has to probably go back and just sit off them and, yeah, hopefully call it up and has the last crack.
All right, I've got a funny feeling we're going to be fairly similar in the numbers. Take us away, top 3.
VC on top, number 2. Number 3, Sarasana. And number 9, Written Bly for a bit of value.
Yeah, number 9, Written Bly. That's the value, as James has said. VC, can't leave him out. He just was fantastic at Flemington first up. And Zolfikar, who was really good for Godolphin in the spring. Second start, not so good, but had one of those bust-out runs first up. Could be...
Dual accepted, do we know? I mean, we're sort of Thursday around lunchtime, we don't know, do we? No. So that's the problem sometimes with the dual acceptors, we just don't know where it runs, but certainly impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully down here.
Okay, well, I've got Sarasana on top. Just thought that the sectionals and the way Sarasana hit the line, just ahead of VC, maybe just back from that 1100, and Written Bly, as you mentioned, you've touched on as well, so pretty similar numbers there. All right, let's get to the Jeffrey Bellmaine. It's a Group 3 over the 1300 metres. Much more difficult. I found this a difficult race and much more open than what we've just talked about.
Yeah, I think it's a wide leg of the quaddie, and probably still miss. But going with Vespertine on top, number 2, wide gate, but I don't actually mind the wide gate for her. It looks to be a really strong speed on paper. There's speed inside and out, so I think she'll just go back from the wide gate and probably gets a nice cart into the race. She's a horse who, look, when she does get a decent trail into it, she can really let rip with a big finish. Tempo was against her in the Standish first up. They went pretty slow early, and the back markers just never got into it.
Back on the inside.
Yeah, last 100 was pretty good. So I think she's a horse who generally spikes second up. She's had 4 starts for 2 wins in a second. So expecting sharp improvement. Going with Vespertine at decent price. I think we're getting $7 or $8.
Now, Simon, Rose Quartz and James started on Married at First Sight. They're now on Survivor.
Are they?
Yeah.
Right.
Did you? He's off Rose Quartz. So am I. Does Rose Quartz figure?
Now's the time to jump on.
I was going to say, where?
Love a score.
I thought the Standish run was okay. I understand where James is coming on, and understand where you're both coming from. She's not my top selection. Look, in racing, I love informed horses, informed jockeys, or informed stables. And the Anthony Friedman stable, I reckon, is absolutely on fire. Anthony and Sam Friedman. They've got snapped in this. I think there's going to be
done much wrong.
No. And I think wrote to it Arataki.
Yep.
Jamie Carr's going to come over from out wide. There's going to be enough speed for Snap just to get a gorgeous run in the race, and I think have last shot at it. So Snapped on top for me for Anthony and Sam Friedman.
All right, let's take your top three in order then, and we know Rose Quartz is now in Australian Idol.
Yeah, not in my top three, Rose Quartz. Vespertine on top, I got Snapped as the danger. It's definitely the query runner. This is its toughest test to date, but didn't really get a crack at them in Sydney last start, and obviously was brilliant winning first up. So yeah, Snap could blow them away. And Forbidden City I thought was probably value. Disappointed last time when in the market, but prior to that was a back-to-back winner, one of those at this circuit. Absolutely loves Sandown Hillside. 3 starts, 2 wins and a minor placing. And for the SP profiles, she started under $3 or $3 or less in all 4 starts this prep, and we're getting $14 here. So if you have been on, might be time to butter up again. It is a rising grade, but I think Forbidden City's one to definitely throw in the quaddie.
Yeah, I think Forbidden City turns it around in Bello Rish anyway. Your top three?
Yeah, I'm going with Snapped, the 11 on top. Wrote to Arataki for Jamie Carr, number 10. I'm not sure what Arataki means. I looked that up at some stage. Probably should have looked it up before the show, but I didn't, so be it.
I think it's a Hawaiian word for capitalist.
Yes, correct. Or Trump, whichever way you want to go.
You got it in.
Rose Quartz, number 4, talking of unlucky or unliked horses from my panellists. Rose Quartz for me on the back of the Standish run.
I've got Vespertine on top for the same thing you mentioned. Also, the second up record is very good, as you touched on. 4 starts for 2 wins and a placing. I've got Snap second. I've got Exalita in for third. Might not be the right race for Exalita, but I think it is the best horse in the race.
Very smart on its day. A bit hard to catch, but yeah, it does have a big turn of foot.
All right, that's our 2 Group 3s. So now we move to James to get your other best bets for the card.
Yeah, best bet, I was going to go with Inundation, but it could start very short. So we'll go with one at a bit better odds. Race 6, number 3, Daytona Bay. Resumes off a couple of jump outs at Pakenham. Ridden along in the latest jump out, so I'm hoping that Moody has it fit enough first up for this trip. Moody Stable's absolutely airborne at the moment, striking at over 20% in the last couple of months. 1-4 from 5, and the only time it missed was when it was beaten by Cardinal Gem, who then was pretty competitive in the Golden Eagles, beaten less than 6 lengths in that. So I like the fact that he puts himself on speed, he's drawn well, and yeah, the Moody horses are proving very hard to get past once they're in front with that big nose roll bobbing up and down. So Daytona Bay on top, and Fujita San, very short in the market. I'm willing to risk it first up until it actually does something on the track and not just at the trials.
So that's your best bet. What's your best?
It's good that Pete Moody's now got the crossover nose band on himself, because we're not hearing as much from him.
He puts Catherine out there.
Yeah, the nose band just wasn't keeping his head down enough. But that's by the by. My best bet is Snapped. I think the camp is in good form. Good run in Sydney last start, so I think Snapped for me. My value bet, you want that now?
Yeah,
it's
no
right
rules.
you are.
Yeah.
Right you are. Race 8, number 6. Lamar Eustace camp, talking about stables in form.
Yeah, don't know how not to train winners. All right, that's right you are later on. Your other best bet and your value.
Yeah, next best, race 5, number 9, British Columbia. Was there to win last start, but just faded late. I'm putting that down to a bit of a lack of fitness, second up off a long break. It's basically the same sort of affair. Stays at 1400, stays in benchmark 70 grade. Drawn to land in the first 4, so if it's a bit fitter third up, I think it can bounce back. And best value, race 3, number 8, Field the Moment. A couple of shorties in this, Hennessy Lad and Black Max are the clear favourites, but I think Field the Moment might be in front of them in the run. Beaten by Snap Dancer last start. Shuffle Dancer. Shuffle Dancer looks very promising, so I'm going with Field the Moment. Nice platform for 1800 fourth up, fit, will probably lead or sit behind the leader and hopefully be too good.
My best bet is in race 4, number 1, Benedetta. I think the last couple of wins have been a little bit arrogant, really. I mean, goes up a fair way in grade, but could have won that last start by a lot more than 3.5 lengths. Could have been up to about 6 lengths. I think it's a winnable race with just Bellmaine the danger. And my best bet was going to be Dillinger, who was involved in a shootout with Zippity Zoostar last start, and they were 7 lengths back to third, and they've scratched it on me. So
Zippity won yesterday.
Zippity won yesterday, so I thought the form was going to stack up. So I've ended up with, in the race 5, number 1, Super Arcee. Just been racing really consistently. Was very close to winning. Maybe it might be the time today. Has beaten Victory Bay, has beaten British Columbia, and has beaten Euro Dandy, and they're all sort of around the $5 mark.
Been up forever, that horse.
Yeah, and well,
to hold its form.
Ben Brisbane, he'd get his horses to do that, but I think at odds, it's double the odds of its rivals. Might be his turn. All right, that's it, Lammy.
Yep.
Great to have you company.
Great to be here. Let's get a few winners.
That's the
Go Rose Quartz.
Go Rose Quartz. I don't know what TV.
Now is the time to jump on.
If it gets on and wins, we'll have to come up with another program for Rose Quartz. That's James Lamb, who always is our guest here on Punters Inside Run. Next up, it's the big call. All the tips and all the best bets.
betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.